Okay, so I accidentally deleted a few things in my game. That was fun. I'll touch on how I did that and why I won't be doing it again, hopefully. I've also been doing E to interact, kind of wanting to pick up items, interacting with doors. So I've been going over a few tutorials, made a really basic example in a separate game as well, just to try and understand it. And I also made my first pixel art drawing, which I'll be honest is pretty amazing. So we'll touch on all of that. First up is, what did I actually do to delete part of my game? First up, I didn't have anything committed to GitHub, which was a mistake. But secondly, is I've got this base room, which all my rooms kind of is instantiate from. I got only two right now, bedroom and entrance. And the problem I had was my drawing order was a bit weird for my tile map layers. And I also wanted to organize my code a little bit. So I was like, I'll create a node, I'll drag the tile map layers into the new node to keep it all organized. And doing that deletes all my drawings from what I've instantiated it. So that was really frustrating, to be honest. I kind of walked away from my computer when that happened. And I still haven't fully been able to organize it, because I think adding it to the node, it messed it up somehow. Sorry, I have a dog in here that's squeaking his toy a lot. So yeah, that was my kind of major mistake, was changing a lot of my base room and it impacting a lot of my kind of instantiated rooms. But we live and we learn. So next was E to interact. I'll show you what it's like in this game to begin with. I've only got it on my doors right now. So E to interact, I go to a new room and I go back. Pretty simple. I watched a lot of videos trying to explain it and understand it. Generally, how I've understood it is you create an interactable component, which you then add to a node or element in your scene. You add a collision element to that. That's going to be, as I see my door, that's that. Then there's an interactable, which is a global script that kind of fires, you find the nearest, and it displays text. That was kind of the gist of how I was understanding it. I don't know if it's just me, but if I can not have code in a global script, I would rather prefer that. So I did have a little go at doing it. And if we just go here, a bit of a basic example, but I don't have a global script. I've got my I've called it interaction area. I've added that to my item, and then the E to interact code is in my player because I always want it to happen on my player and nothing else. So I can publish this to GitHub if people want to see a really simple example. It's not the best. Like here, there's something wrong with my sorting and finding the closest one, because really it should be the left-hand side item that's saying E to interact. But it's just like minor things. It kind of works. I say I've got my interaction area, which is just got the label in. I add my interaction area with the collision shape to my item. I've added my item to my world, and then my player script, that's also got the collision. That kind of handles, that's all your movement stuff. But this is your, nearby interactions, updating the labels, trying to find and sort by the nearest distance. Again, this bit doesn't work, but it's okay. So I can publish that to GitHub if people wanted to check it out. And then the final main thing is I drew my first bit of pixel art, which, yeah, it's not great, but for not doing any kind of lessons or anything, that's what I came up with. I thought it was good. Now, I did draw this on an online editor. I believe it was called Piscals, something like that. But I've since downloaded Libre Sprite, which was a fork of A Sprites. I might get A sprites in the future. I know you can compile it from GitHub. I just didn't have the mental bandwidth to do that at the time. So yeah, I might buy it in the future if I find I need a few extra features. I've also just started a Udemy course about pixel art. I try to find things on YouTube, but I couldn't find like a guide really on it. So I just wanted a basic, this is kind of structure, how to do it. Then if there's things I want to know more of, I could branch off and find that information myself. But I need a basic kind of guideline, as it were, to get started. So that course was, I think, 10 or 12 pounds, something like that on Udemy. Again, I'll put it in the description if you want to check it out. But yeah, I was quite happy about that. So I think you might have seen it when I played this game before. I've got it there. I haven't got interactions on items yet. That's something I need to do. But it looks okay. There is another issue with my game which I need to figure out. Basically, if I change scenes, my position for my items doesn't seem to get saved, which I need to look into because I thought it would. If I go to my base room code, I believe it's in. Yeah, here is where I kind of set up my items. So I have a global script which assigns rooms to items. And then when I load into a room, I check the room, check if the items are being placed or not. And then I place them on a spawn. And I thought this part would save it up and remember it. But I don't think it is. And I don't know why. So that's something I need to figure out. Kind of what I wanted to talk about today going forward is actually going to be focusing on that 2D sprite course. Because I want to create the items for this game. You know, I need to do a sword, bow, arrows, probably some other stuff as well. So that's going to be my focus going forward for a little bit. I'll try and get the items to get interacted with and sort out the random spawning positions. I'm trying to keep my game as small as possible while learning as much as I can, if that makes sense. I'm not too sure about doing dialogue, or I was tempted by a secret room, but I might leave that. And I might make them kind of their own mini games as well, just to keep the learning a bit more specific, if that makes sense. But I'm also really tempted to add a secret room because I think that would be really cool. Let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you all have a good day and I will catch you later.